Is silence a form of abuse? I mean, have you ever asked yourself that question before? Have you ever tried to explain to someone that your partner doesn't talk to you? I mean, not really. And you speak, words come out, but it's not really a conversation because there's no tenderness. It's like more like logistics, talking about bills, the kids, grocery, but never about your heart, never about your thoughts. What are you thinking? Never about your fears. And maybe you've started to wonder if it's your fault that your partner doesn't want to talk to you, if you're just asking for too much, if maybe this is what marriage is. But something deep inside of you knows this silence, it isn't normal, and it definitely isn't love. That's what today's episode is about. This is Annie's story, and I'm telling it for her. There was a time Annie thought that maybe she was overthinking, maybe exaggerating everything in her head. After all, her husband said things. I mean, words would come out of his mouth. He'd ask when she was going to the grocery store, what's for dinner. He might, on rare occasion, comment about the news or grumble about traffic, stuff like that. So how could she say he doesn't talk to me and expect anybody to understand that? But Annie knew. She knew something was off. He never asked her how she was, never asked, what are your dreams? Never shared a quiet thought, a hope, or even a fear of anything that would make her feel close to him. And in rare moments, she would try. She would lean in and say something that would make her vulnerable, something small, something honest. But he changed the subject, or worse, act like she hadn't spoken at all. One night, she tried to tell her cousin about this, just a small confession over a cup of tea. She says, he never really talks to me. Her cousin laughed and said, men aren't great talkers, believe me. At least he's not yelling at you, right? But, that wasn't the point. He wasn't yelling. He was erasing her quietly, slowly, and completely. And no one else could see it, and she didn't even know how to describe it to anyone, so she couldn't even talk about it. If you've ever tried to explain that kind of silence to someone and they didn't get it, I want you to know that you weren't overreacting. You're not making it up. The hurt that comes with silence is real. And what Annie went through and what many survivors experience isn't a lack of conversation. It's a lack of connection, a hollowing of intimacy, kind of an intentional withdrawal that keeps you starved, even when you're sitting right next to them. And it's incredibly hard to describe because really, how do you explain what's missing? How do you tell someone your heart is breaking when on the outside everything looks pretty normal? But kind of deep inside, you know the truth. It's not fine. And that silence, it's not even neutral. It's cold, it's calculated, and cruel, and intentional even. To the survivor who feels invisible in their own home, to the one who wonders if they're the only one who hears the silence that surrounds them, this one is for you. You were never asking for too much. You were never asking for anything other than to really be seen, to be loved in quiet moments, to be heard when You whispered instead of shout. You were asking to matter. And I'm here to tell you that you do matter. I'm Kyle Hackley, author of the book Undercurrent and the host of the Are You Annie podcast. Annie is much more than just a character in the book. Her story is true. And it's because of Annie that this podcast exists. And it's because of you that this podcast is starting to form a community of people who understand each other, acknowledge and validate each other. Annie's truth belongs to every survivor who's ever had to fight for their own voice. And as always, I want you to remember that you are stronger than you ever believed. You are a warrior against narcissistic abuse. I want you to be tenacious and never give up on what you believe in. Until next time, I honor your truth. You are not alone. And I don't feel alone here. I know you're here, and I know you stayed to the end. I thank you for all of that. So until the next episode, I want you to take good care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye.